All right, guys. Okay, I'm going to give people a couple of minutes to get in. We're going to do a live stream. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I figured you guys have some questions. I've got some topics I'm going to discuss today, but I'm kind of open to what you guys want to talk about. Student loans have been very popular. The topic of student loans, veterans law, law school stuff, buying properties, things of that nature. So I'm going to give people a little chance to come in, and then we're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's kind of like on y'all today. Even though I'll talk about a few topics, it's kind of on y'all. Use the chat box, and I'll see your questions, and hopefully it can spark some other questions from other people. But basically, it's going to be on y'all. I know we've been trying to figure out what you guys want to hear. Our audience our viewers comes from different backgrounds. So we have people who are here for the pre-law, law school and beyond playlist. The people who are here for student loans. That's a lot of y'all. People here for veterans benefits, disability benefits law. We have personal finance, how to buy properties, investment properties, how to improve your credit, things of that nature. So we're going to talk about a lot of things today. So I'm going to give people a second to come in, and then I'm going to jump right into the topics I already have on for today. Let me close this door real quick. Not that one. Little picture. All right, so we got about a minute in here. And I want to know what you guys did for Halloween. I don't know if you guys celebrate your kids dressed up. Did you have a party? I know COVID has stopped a lot of activities, but if you guys did anything for Halloween yesterday, if you haven't checked out my newest vlog, I went to the French fry house, and they had this Halloween funnel cake fries that I checked out for Halloween. I didn't dress up for Halloween, but I checked it out. So let's see what everybody wants to talk about. I'm going to jump into my first topic, and then we'll see what people are saying as they shuffle in. Here, let's see. Try to figure out how to share the screen with you guys, and then we'll go right into it. Let's see. All right. All right, let's see. Okay, can you guys see? Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So the topic is about student loans. Everybody has student loans. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people have student loans, and want to see kind of what is Biden going to do about it. That was his platform when he was running for president. He wants student loan forgiveness. It was talking about $10,000, $30,000, $50,000. It all been floating around. And an article today said that Biden has been sitting on a student debt memo for over 6 months that could wipe out billions, but he won't reveal what it says. And that obviously that didn't surprise me personally, because knowing how the government works and how things are generated in the government, as an attorney, we create memos to our superiors about topics. He probably asked, like, what's his legal authority about student loan forgiveness, and put it out to legal counsel. Legal counsel, this came from the legal general counsel's department, Emma Laheny. She responded with a memo that says what the secretary's legal authority is on the matter. And there it was redacted. They didn't let anybody see it. And that doesn't surprise me, though. Let me see if I can go back to. That doesn't surprise me, because I think they're not ready to fully do it. I know Biden says he wants to forgive, but I know that sometimes your hands are tied. So it'll be interesting to see when they ever make this memo public. But the fact that they haven't made it public, or that there's a memo out there, it's not really kind of like, oh, this is big news as much as it should be, because they create memos all the time. Like in law school, we used to have to create memos for all kinds of issues. That doesn't mean that the memo is going to result in any kind of resolution later, but it's like, okay, where do we stand on this matter? Where are we going to go with this matter? So I think that the whole student loan thing is not going to be like the student loan memo is not a big deal. So that's the first issue. Let's see. We have a question here. If you could turn back the hands of time, would you still become a lawyer? That's a good question. I would say yes. I would say yes. Even though I'm using what I'm doing right now for different purposes, I would still say yes. I think that I was one of those annoying people that always wanted to be a lawyer, right? It wasn't like, oh, what do I want to be when I already knew what I wanted to be. And so I think that since that was my plan, I checked it off. Even though I also see there are other avenues to achieving certain financial goals I want to reach, I know that being a lawyer has helped me, has put me in contact with people that I value, whether it be my peers or professors or judges or other people I work with. They are all part of my journey. And so I think that that was important for me to kind of understand, like, okay, had I not gone this route, I may have not met these people. And I think so that was part of my journey. So no, I would still become a lawyer. If I had to go back in time, I would still become a lawyer. So let me see here. We have another topic. We're going to try to figure out how to do. I'm going to try to share the screen so that we can talk about the next topic. And the next topic that was a good segue about lawyers. Work experience in law school. There was a recent article about work experience in law school. So let's see if I can share that with you guys. I know everybody's not interested in going to law school, but just the fact that schools, whether it be graduate schools and things of that nature, are now valuing work experience, not just people that are going straight through from high school to college to graduate school. They're valuing you having some kind of work experience. I think that's important. So this article was talking in particular about law school, work experience in law school. And I think that, let's see if I can bring it up here. It says why work experience matters for law school applicants. Let me see if I can share it with you guys. So it says work experience matters for law school. Let's see. For law school applicants. And it talks about if you're applying to law school, how in the last year, 82% of the class of 2021 at Harvard Law School arrived on campus with at least 1 year of work experience. And that's becoming more and more popular. People are not going straight through. Law schools are looking for the maturity sometimes that comes with working in the workforce before you go to law school. And kind of the rigors that goes along with being in law school. If you can manage like real life situations, it may make your journey in law school a little more easier. Now, I'll say personally, I didn't go straight from undergrad to law school. I had a year off and I worked. Actually, I was working during law school too. So the whole time management thing, trying to figure out like this, I have a lot on the line. I had that going through law school. It didn't necessarily make it easier, but as you can see, I guess it was a success because I was able to manage law school, finish law school, pass the bar, get a job, and practice in my field. And so I think, I don't know if I had done it differently, if it would have been the same, because I do know people who went straight through from undergrad to law school, but it was basically talks about including your work history in your application, like things that you've done in your job. I previously worked at a bank. I won't put the bank's name out there, but it's a very popular bank. And I worked in the collection department, like people who were behind on their credit card bills. I was calling them up and asking them for their money back. So I learned how to find people. And that's a good skill because sometimes you have to find your clients. Like, let's say you work in criminal, you have to find witnesses. Those little skills, like, got put to use in a whole different realm. So I think that your work history, your work experience, bring it out in your personal statement. When you're applying for law school, bring it out, like flesh it out. Not to say that people who don't have any work experience, they don't have any chance of getting into law school, but I think it gives people who are in law school or applying to law school some kind of hope. So comment below if anybody on the chat right now on the live is applying to law school. I know if you just came into the chat, we are talking about work experience in law school. We talked originally about student loans and Biden. So I know some of our viewers are student loan carriers just like me, and it's not a badge of shame. We're trying to figure it out, and hopefully we'll all get it figured out soon. But if you just jumped in, this is an open live today. Ask any questions, drop it in the chat box, and I'll try to answer the questions. Ask me anything, well, just about anything, but ask me what you'd like to know. We had a couple of topics that I was discussing, which was student loans, veterans, disability benefits, law school issues, and buying properties, personal finance. But I'm kind of open to see where the chat goes today. I know that law school, we were talking about law school and work experience and just in general. I think that when you have to pay your bills and you're trying to figure out this on your own, it puts law school and how you view law school in a different light. And just like in undergrad, those who just were going to undergrad and weren't, thinking about it as seriously, and those who were also working and going to undergrad, they had a different kind of hustle. Like it was a lot more on the line. Like they had to make sure they passed this class because perhaps they were getting tuition reimbursement, or perhaps their job made sure they had to pay for it, or they were taking time out of their job, coming over on lunch hours to go to class. It was different kind of hustles that people had during undergrad, the same thing in law school. And so when you have work experience, it perhaps can make your journey in law school a little bit easier. I'm not going to say law school was easy because it certainly was not, but it made me who I am today. So I think that's important. I'm going to talk a little bit about veterans law because I know some of our viewers are veterans, and VA has extended the presumptive period for those who were in the Persian Gulf. So if you were during active service, worked in the Persian Gulf and have a disability, let's say it's an undiagnosed disability or things of that nature, VA has extended the presumptive period of time for you to show that you have a chronic disability that manifests within 10% of you getting out of service. So if you're a veteran, comment below. So I know that's a very specific topic. If you're a veteran, you want to talk a little bit more about how you can possibly get your claim approved or even apply if you hadn't thought about applying, but you worked in the Persian Gulf during, recent years, then we can talk about that. Let's see, we have some comments here. We have unorthodox spiritual vegetarian. I'm studying for the LSAT now. Okay, good luck. Good luck. I know that's probably stressful. I love you. Thank you. I know it's probably stressful, but I know you can do it if you basically put your mind to it. I know the LSAT is no indicator of whether you're going to do good in law school. It's such a disconnect, but I know it's kind of like you got to get it out the way so you can get in there. But after the LSAT, those questions about logic and the logic in games, like you're not going to see those kind of things again in law school. But I guess it's about critical thinking and whether you can kind of get to that level once you're like applying, because the same thing applies. Like you I tell people who are applying for the LSAT or studying for the bar exam, if you can afford it, pay for one of those prep courses, because I think that makes a difference. Like somebody telling you how to study for an exam versus like actually thinking that you can practice law are two different things, right? If I had not taken a bar prep course, I don't know if I would have passed the bar exam. I wasn't taking that risk. I'm like, I'm going to take a bar prep course. I wish I had taken the LSAT prep course because perhaps I would have scored a higher LSAT score. But the journey was there. I mean, I took the LSAT 2 times, and as you know, they take your higher score, so it doesn't matter how many times you take it. I took it 2 times, and I'm like, this is as good as I'm getting. And I thought back on it, like people who have access to resources and knowledge about like prep courses, perhaps I could have done better and went to a different school. But I actually am glad I went to the school I went to. As I mentioned, I have friends, lifelong friends I made from it. The other attorney on the channel, Tracy, and I met in law school. I have law professors that I still talk to, and I've been out of law school for 10 years, and I still have them, like, text them on my cell phone, tell them how my kids are doing, everything. So I think that the journey was, that was the journey I was meant to have. That's what I believe. But if you think like, oh, if I get, I didn't even apply to Harvard or any Ivy League school, so I don't know if I would apply if I would have gotten in. But let's just say like, okay, I've got a higher score. People may want a higher score so they can get into a better law school, what they believe is a better law school. Go ahead, maybe pay for the course that can possibly get you in there. So good luck, unorthodox spiritual vegetarian. Where are you applying to? I'm a non-traditional college student. Okay. I own and operate my own nonprofit raising a senior. Girl, so I know I know you're trying to do it all. You got multiple hats on. So, but it's funny that those kind of people are the ones, like I mentioned before, are the ones that do the best because it's so much on the line. Like you got a kid and a whole husband and you over here running your business. Like you have to do well, right? There's no other option. And it's kind of like, it's your grit that's going to get you through. So Good luck for whenever you try to start. I'm not sure if you're trying to start for the next year. I know a lot of people have been applying to law school. People have been like, the application rate has increased significantly. People are like, okay, I want to go to law school. But remember, go to law school for a reason. And if you can go to a law school that you can afford to not have so much debt, that's a whole other story, because we talked about student loans. I have a whole student loan playlist, everything student loans, because I personally have student loans, and I'm in the public service loan forgiveness track because I work for the government. If you are one of those people that are going to work for the government or a nonprofit, as you say, she worked for a nonprofit, or she has a nonprofit, you can possibly get your loans forgiven after 120 payments in the program. And people say that's a long time. It's 10 years to be paying for a student loan. That's a long time. Well, do you know, I have viewers on the channel who have commented they've been paying their student loans for 12 years and their student loan debt has gone up. So the fact that there's a program right now, in effect, this is not for everybody, it's for government workers and for nonprofit. There's a program that's going to possibly help have your loans forgiven after 10 years. Some people like, this is a blessing in disguise. And we're going to talk a little bit about whether that's going to be open up to the broader, private sector and things of that nature. But right now I'm talking about for public sector and for nonprofit. I think that might be a good thing for people. And I know that's what I'm counting on. I know I was going to possibly do a whole video about whether should you pay your student loans or invest. And obviously, if you watch my channel, I'm not saying either or, because I'm actually investing in things, stocks, real estate, things of that nature, while also on this student loan payment track. So I think it's not an either or. And I think that it would behoove you to not wait forever, not forever, but for a long time before you decide whether, I should invest, because what they say, $1 today is better than $1 tomorrow. Like, invest. If you wait 10 years or 12 years from now, when you're finished paying your student loans, you know how many opportunities you could have missed out on in the meantime. So I think that you should invest and pay your student loans. Find out a payment program that might be best for you so that you can do both. It's possible. I'm doing it. I know other people are doing it. And because I know that the student loan forgiveness program will pay off my loans in 10 years, it's kind of no point in me paying it off myself. This is kind of one of the fringe benefits of working for the government or a nonprofit. They know that you can make possibly way more money in the private sector. They kind of want to invite people to the public sector so that they have very skilled workers. This is one of the fringe benefits. And so I wouldn't pay off the loan if I know this is one of the fringe benefits, just like you have 401ks. Like, you go where the whole total compensation package is for your job. This is part of the compensation package. Like, having somebody forgive 6 figures worth of debt is part of my compensation package. That's how I see it. So that's how I see, for those of you who are thinking about whether it's worth it, I think it is totally worth it if you think about that's part of your compensation package. I'm very close. I just got an email. If you watch my other videos, I got an email saying that I got credit for extra payments that they previously said I wouldn't get credit for. So I'm kind of excited about that. That was from the federal student aid, though. It wasn't from my actual loan servicer. So I'm waiting for it kind of to trickle down. I'm with FedLoans, and FedLoans is going to not be my servicer by the end of the year. So I'm hoping they figured it out before I have to switch servicers. But in the meantime, I'm riding that student loan wave so that I can have it forgiven within 120 payments. So let's see. I have another question here. Sugarcane23 says, how can you pay your loan without ACH with their bank account? I don't know. I think that I know personally I have it connected to my bank account. And I think they're doing that more so, just like because they encourage people to have their paycheck deposited, like direct deposit. It's basically for tracking purposes. They encourage people to do ACH payments. I think you can like mail in a check or mail in a money order. And they usually say that on if you have that option, they say it on your statements if you log into your account. I'm not sure. I guess you wouldn't maybe want them to have access to your account because you don't want to have them take out more. Is that the reason? I'm not sure, because it's convenient for me. And if you want to, you can even set up like a separate account that you only do for the student loans. If you don't want them to basically have access to the account, your main account, and perhaps take out more money than they should, maybe open up a separate account. Because I have a lot of checking accounts for different purposes so that I can keep things in order. So maybe that may be the reason why you don't want ACH for the student loans. I don't know, but that's how I pay mine. So let's see. Okay, she said that's the reason. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know you. People are distrustful, and it's funny when I used to work at the bank and we used to set up payments for people, and it's like, oh, they took out too much money, and I'm like, oh, it kind of put me on to like make sure I have this account set up for like my kids' preschool, this account is set up for insurance payments, this account, like just so that like if y'all try to take out more than y'all supposed to, it's not. I only put what I know is supposed to be in that account. So if you try to take out more, you won't be messing up with my other money from my other bills. So maybe that's an option you can do. Let's see. We have another question. The person was telling me they were studying abroad, but will practice immigration law in the U.S. because immigration law is common law and will be federal or something like that. Any thoughts? Yeah, immigration law is federal. So basically, you just have to be admitted to a bar, like any state bar association, or you don't have to be admitted to multiple. So when you practice immigration, so my friend, she's admitted to the Maryland bar. She lives in Portland, Oregon, and practices immigration law. So the fact that she lives in Portland, Oregon, she does not need to be admitted to the Portland, Oregon bar because immigration law is a federal, you practice in federal court, and you just have to be admitted to a bar and then be admitted to the federal court, which you're going to be practicing in. So it is different from like criminal law or employment law, those kind, or real estate law or estate planning law. Those kind of particular laws, you actually have to be admitted to the bar where you're practicing. So I'm in Texas, I have to be admitted to the Texas bar if I want to practice criminal law, right? Unless I get waived in by somebody else, pro hoc vice. Well, I think we're back. I think I was freezing for a second. So yes, if you practice immigration law, you just have to be admitted to one of the bars. And I would just say, try to take the easiest one because you just got to be admitted to one. So maybe that's what your friend was talking about. Okay, good. Watch all the videos. Thank you for your support, guys. Are there any other fields that allow you to do that? Federal law. So I'm trying to think off the top of my head what other federal positions. I don't think tax law. I'm trying to think. I'll have to get back to you on that because right off the top of my head, I don't know. But if it practices in federal courts, then you can basically just be admitted to a bar. So I gave examples of ones that you have to be admitted to the state bar to practice there, but I'll look into that as far as the ones that are federal practices. So let's see. If you pay just the principal, can you get it back on taxes? Okay, so she's back on student loans. So I'm switching hats. If you pay the principal, do you get it back on taxes? So so it depends, right? So when you pay, usually when you're on the student loan payment program, a lot of the money is going towards interest, right? And then you can write off some of the interest every year. But when you hit a certain income, you can't write off any of the student loan interest. It's kind of like mortgage interest, but mortgage interest doesn't have like the same limiting factor. So I think for student loans, once you start making over, if you're single or if you're married, filing jointly, I think if you make over 70, it might be a little bit more than that now, then you can't write off student loan interest. I don't know if it's only for interest as far as taxes are concerned. So if you're trying to say, can you write off just paying principal? I believe the answer is no to that question. You don't have to be married to get the tax credit. You don't have to be married to get the tax rate, but like I said, it is an income thing. So I know when I first got out of law school, I wasn't making as much money. I was clerking for a judge and I was paying student loans and I can write off the interest. And then I started making more money. And so I still was paying interest, but I couldn't write it off on taxes. And I wasn't married at the time when I first got out of law school. So to answer your question, no, you don't have to be married, but there is an income cap. If you make a certain amount of money, then you can't write it off. That brings me to another question, another point though, as far as when you're doing the public service loan forgiveness, when you're on the track to do that, and it's based off of, or even just the income-based repayment. Let's say you're not doing even student loan forgiveness, just income-based repayment. I would say the people that are married to do married filing separately for tax purposes because it will cause your student loan payments to be lower, right? So I filed separately so that it looks like I only have my income, because if I put my income with my spouse's income at the time, then it would show I have a lot of money, and I was really only using my income to pay the student loans. I didn't have access to my spouse's income at the time. I was just using mine. So I did married, for my tax purposes, I did married filing separately. And yes, I lost out on some of those other benefits as far as married couple benefits, but the bigger picture was I'm about to get 6 figures worth of student loans forgiven. I'll forego the other tax benefits that you could possibly get from filing IRS taxes, because now they're basing my student loan payment on my income only. So my payments are going to be less than what it would be if I had 2 incomes combined. So I think some people don't realize that, and they just do the standard, like, I'm married, we're going to file together, and then your payments are going to be high. So I would say, sorry, honey, we're not filing together, because this is costing me money. This is costing us more money in the long run. So I would say, just as a side point, if you're going to do an income-based repayment program, and I know repayment programs are starting after January 31st, 2022. So watch my other video where I walk you through basically how to apply for that. But if you're going to do income-based repayment and you're married, I would try to do married filing jointly for your taxes so that you can benefit from the lower monthly payments. So let's see. She said, okay, thanks. You're welcome. Let's see. I got my forms you told us to get, one of videos for public loans. I was wondering, since I am self-employed, do I just sign off on everything myself? That's a good question for self-employed. Because I think you said you were new a nonprofit, so I guess, yeah, if you're the HR person, then you sign off for it, and as long as like it can be verified that you're a nonprofit, then you will be the person signing off for it. So that's cool that you work for yourself, nonprofit, and can qualify for the program. So I'm glad you did your form. Everybody else who is just jumping on the live, if you're applying for public service loan forgiveness and haven't completed your form yet, go stop what you're doing right now, pull up another tab, hit that form, print it out, and get your HR person. Or if you are self-employed in a nonprofit, you are the HR person, then go ahead and do that so that you can get them kind of doing a tally on what payments you've made so far and how many you have remaining. I would say to do that soon, very soon. So let's see. All right. Yes. Okay. All right. I'm glad you guys are kind of asking questions. I had a couple of things I was going to talk about in regards to law school, student loans. I know student loans is the most popular video right now because student loan is going to be coming due soon. For those of you, if you are even thinking about, like, should I apply to, do you know that since we've had the student loan reprieve, like the COVID, you don't have to pay? I've been getting credit for my non-payments as payments, right? So essentially, I've gotten free, almost 24 payments worth of free payments that count towards the 120 payments because I'm on the public service loan forgiveness track. And so for those of you who are not on that and who are considering doing it, this is what it's going to get you. It's going to get you 24 payments towards your goal, because we haven't had to pay. If you have a federally backed student loan, you haven't had pay since March of 2020. You getting credit for all those non-payments as a payment. And that was part of, like, they worked that into the deal. And I'm like, okay, that's good. What I use this time for is to pay off other stuff, to invest in stuff. Like, I wasn't sitting on my hands while it's happening. Some people may just appreciate the relief from having to pay the loans at all. That's fine. It gives them a little chance to catch up on things they need to. I'm hoping you have been making good use of your almost 24 payments that the government has said that you hadn't had to make for federally backed loans. If you need to consolidate, I would say to put in your application with the Federal Student Aid FSA website so that you can consolidate your loans, so that when come January 31st, whatever they're trying to do, when January 31st, 2022 comes around, you are in a better position than you were when the pause first happened. So let's see here. What if you haven't paid even before COVID? Well, there you go. I mean, I think that I think you were talking about if you are on the public service loan forgiveness. If you weren't on like a regular forbearance, you would get credit for those payments. So the COVID payments count just from the March 2020 payments until now. But if you weren't paying before, but you have any payments that you made since you started the loans, then those would count towards your 120 payments as well. I think that, let me see. Yeah, paid it up. So what are you asking about? So you haven't paid anything on the student loans, and you're asking what about the student loans? because I didn't follow. There's a lot of little chats there. I didn't follow. If you haven't paid anything, even before COVID, on student loans, what's your question about student loans? Because we have people who just maybe been on forbearance or they're in school right now, so I guess it doesn't apply to them. But if you're scheduled to start paying after COVID ends, then you want to make sure that you're on some kind of repayment program that you can afford and that makes sense for you and your family. So I don't know if that's what you're saying too. Are you scheduled to start repaying it come January 31st, 2022? Or you praying that they do some kind of forgiveness before then? I guess everybody's praying for that. I'm not sure, but I think that you need to, ready yourself, whether you were paying before or you're scheduled to be paying in January, ready yourself so that, you don't get any surprises. Okay. So you're trying to start. So yeah, try to find a plan that works for you. I would say income-based repayment plan might be the best plan that works for you, or income contingent, depending on your personal situation. I would say to look into that for you. But I would say don't let this stop you from doing anything else. I'm glad that we have a variety of people. We have self-employed people. We have people who work for the government, things of that nature. I think that we're going to have a variety of different, type of viewers. And I'm sure there's some kind of plan for everybody. So before you go, just want to ask, let's see. Please don't forget to look into the fields of federal attorneys for me. Oh, thanks right there. Oh, yes, I will. I think we should actually do a video on that just to give people options. That's a good topic. I'm going to write it down so that I won't forget. That's a good topic to say. If you want to work in these fields, you only have to take the bar once and you can practice in those things. So thanks for giving the idea for that topic, federal attorney options. So if that's the field you want to go. So thank you for tuning in today, Unorthodox. And everybody else that wants to chime in. I know I was talking about buying properties, and we actually are considering buying additional properties in Baltimore. I talked about how I figured out about these deals, going to meetups and getting in touch with people. And I did all kind of the legwork before the world closed up on meetups, but I'm actually on meetups, virtual meetups now, to figure out what kind of deals I can kind of invest in. And so you want to get on people's email list, and they just send you stuff and you can decide whether you want to invest in them or not. I think these are beneficial because there are tax benefits to investing in real estate. People were asking about writing off your interest for student loans, but there are so many more benefits of writing off things if you invest in real estate, not just for your primary residence, but for investment property as well. And so I was looking into investing in other deals, multifamily deals that are 5 units and above. Those of you who are interested in that, we did a whole video about, investing for the busy professional, because as you know, I have a regular 9-to-5 job. I don't knock anybody that has a 9-to-5 job because that's what's going to help me get to my other goals. I wear multiple hats. And so the 9-to-5 job is what's financing my other interests. And I think that it's important to kind of realize, like, everybody is not going to do the self-employed thing. If you want to do that, that's fine, but don't knock anybody that's also doing a 9-to-5, because you can kind of, it's more than one way to skin a cat. That's a bad saying, but it's more than one way of doing things. And I think it's important to kind of highlight the benefits. Everybody can't be like a everyday day-to-day landlord. And so if you're a busy professional and you want to invest in real estate, there are multiple ways you can do that, where you're basically collecting checks. You're just picking what deals you want and collecting checks. So I think that that might be some interest to some people. Check out the video. I did 2 videos on it, like on real estate, but most recently was about real estate investing for the busy professional. What the recent deal I did was in Baltimore. So I'm not even investing in my current state. I live in Houston, Texas, but the deal I invest outside of my backyard, which is Baltimore, Maryland. I know some people who were doing deals there, and you should know the people that you're investing with. I know them. The deal seemed like a good deal. They actually are going to do another deal in the same neighborhood of what the first deal we bought in. So we invested in a property that we're basically splitting the cash flow profits, and then we hopefully bring the rents to a certain amount. And then when we sell it, we split the profits and hopefully make a good return. This particular deal is going to be a little more than doubling my money. So I don't know anywhere else where you're going to double your money in a certain period of time legally, right? And you can still write off taxes. So this is why it's a good deal. So check out that video if you haven't already checked the video out. But I basically tell you, like, I'm still paying student loans, but that's not stopping me from doing other things like investing. We also have the videos about stocks. I invest in stocks. We have a video about using life insurance, whole life insurance, universal life insurance, using that to invest in other tax-free investments. So I try to like multiple hats, but I try to give you guys like the breadth of what we do. We do a lot of things. We are lawyers by trade, but we do a lot of things with our trade and just the knowledge and the networks that we built by being lawyers, and just kind of getting ourselves out there. Even if you're not a lawyer, you can go to meetups and meet people and get yourself out there and kind of see what's out there. So let's see if I missed any questions. Okay, 9 to 5. That's right. It's nothing to be knocked. I think the culture has been saying, oh, you don't need to work for the man. Sometimes you can work for the man and still get what you need. The man can pay the paycheck and you can still have other things going on the side. Passive income means like you don't have to keep reinventing things. Active income is what you do 9 to 5. When you don't work, you don't make money except for like collecting your vacation pay. But when you have passive income, like you do something once and you keep collecting on it over and over and over again. So I would say don't knock people who have a regular 9 to 5. I think that there is a lot to be said and what you can do with it. We're showing you what you can do with it. Tracy is self-employed now, but she previously had an employer, and the things that we were doing, even before then. So I think there's something for everybody out there. So let's see. What kind of, okay. So I'm actually practice veterans law. So that's what I do now. I originally started as criminal lawyer, and then now I do veterans law for the last 8 years. So I've been out of law school for 10 years now. So let's see. Should I be scared that if I join the income payment plan, do I have to worry about the lender taking my taxes? That's what I was worried. Oh, taking your tax. Okay, so why would they take your taxes though? I don't know if they would take your taxes unless, are you like defaulted? Because then you need to work out something for the default. If you defaulted, you need to figure out that plan first. But I think that you need to figure out how to get on some kind of plan. I know that right now they've relaxed a lot of the standards, people that were previously defaulting. So I think call into your servicer and see kind of where you stand at, because I don't know, and perhaps you don't know where you stand as far as your status, but usually they're not taking your taxes unless you were defaulted and then you didn't work out any plan with them. Because I know people personally who had their taxes taken for many years because they just like sat on their hands and didn't call and work out some deal with them. And one thing the federal government's going to do, they're going to take their money. So you want to make sure you call and communicate with them and figure out what kind of plan is. That's better than just not doing anything, because yes, they will take your taxes if you have no plan and you're just not paying. So don't do that. So if you want to call in before this whole reprieve is over, because right now everybody who has federally backed loans doesn't have to pay. But if you're saying before that you were perhaps defaulted, then I would say call them now. Be proactive about it so that you don't have to worry about your taxes being taken once repayment is in effect, whenever that may come in. So thank you guys, thank you for the support. Yes, call in Sugarcane so that you can get that taken care of, because they will take their money. I know personally somebody, she has her student loans paid off now, and it was like strong arm, like it wasn't by her choice. They were taking her money and they find your money. So call in so that you can make sure that you're not in default anymore. And like I said, some people feel like they didn't have any options, but there are options out there. And perhaps if you base it on your income, some people have like $5 student payments that counts as a payment, right? So if you call in and figure out what student loan payment might work with your situation, you may be surprised that it's not as high as you thought. I personally wish I would have did that when I first got out of law school, because I thought it was high, so I kind of deferred it. I think I had forbearance available for a little bit, and I could have been just paying at the time because it wasn't as high of a payment as the standard payment. I think people see that standard payment plan, they're like, oh, I can't afford that, and they just kind of go like get overwhelmed by it. And it can be overwhelming. I'm not going to deny. What I did have available though was forbearance. I wasn't in default. But if you call in and figure out what kind of plan would be in line with what is based on your income, you may be pleasantly surprised that you don't have to pay as much as the standard repayment program is. So I would say put that on your to-do list for this week. Sometime this week, put it on your to-do list so that you can figure out what's going on before. I don't know what loan servicer you're on, because I know a lot of them are changing by the end of the year, including mine. I'm with FedLoans right now, and they renew their contract with the federal government. So I'm gonna have a new servicer. I don't know who. Navient, Maximus is gonna be one of the new servicers. Aidvantage is gonna be one of the new servicers. So figure out who you have and give them a call so that you can figure out what plan, because being in default puts you in a not great position as far as IRS is gonna be looking for their money and they have access to your check. So don't get there. So okay, you on forbearance now. That's good. Nelnet, that might be one of them. We have is Navient. Navient. I forget who Navient. They definitely tapped out. They're like, yeah, I forget what the name of theirs is. It might be Maximus. But they've notified people who the new servicer is for, I think, Navient. But I don't have Navient. I have FedLoans, and they haven't told us who our new servicer is. So you just be looking for your emails. I told people to make sure that you have up-to-date email and mailing address and phone numbers in your current servicer, because they're going to be contacting you, sending you information, and you don't want to be missing the information. And like now you have a situation where you don't know who's servicing your loan. It looks like you're not paying. So make sure you keep all your information up to date. I did a whole video about that too. So if you haven't already, you just jumping in on the live now. We have a whole playlist on a lot of things, including everything student loans. I talked about a lot of things. I walked you, like literally went on the computer and walked you through the website and figure out how to do consolidation, to figure out how to do apply for income-based payment. And it basically gives you a little calculator that tells you, like, if you put these numbers in, this is what you're going to have to pay. So there's no guesswork there. So I would advise you to kind of go over to those videos and check those out. So I'm glad you guys are asking questions. I mean, we have some time. If you guys have any other questions, we have been talking about student loans. We've been talking about law school, but this live is not limited to those two topics. So if you have any other topics, let me know. We also talked about buying properties, and I was talking about how you can do both. You can invest, and you can also pay your student loans if you have those student loans, because a lot of people do have them. And I'm interested to see like what Biden does, if he forgives some of it, he forgives a lot of it. I know that the recent bill they passed, community college, free community college, wasn't included in that bill, and people are really upset about that. And I guess rightfully so, because community college was seen as alternatives to having to pay the high 4-year tuition for some private universities or even public universities. You can do 2-year and then transfer over. So, but even if it's not free, it's probably well less than going to a standard 4-year institution. So I think that some of the community colleges have started to be free, but they're not free everywhere. So I think that was a big issue, though, that wasn't included in this recent bill that they passed, that Biden's been having a hard time getting people, the Congress have been having a hard time getting people like to agree, other Congress people to agree, or like what should be included in the bill. So we'll see what the final bill is. I'm glad that some of our Congress people are working for us. You kind of have to hold their foot to the fire. Even Biden hold his foot to the fire, because they make these promises to get elected, and then now they're like, yeah, we'll get to it. No. You work for us, the people, and the people want this, and so I figure out a way to get it done. So I think that that's important. So, you guys have any other questions? I know we kind of talked about a lot of things, and I'm glad that you guys hopped on today. I'm going to actually look into other federal attorneys for if you guys are considering going to law school, and you figure out what kind of attorneys you can be if you only have to practice. Be admitted to a bar, but you can practice in federal court. I'm going to look more into that. I think, like I said, I know immigration for sure, because I know we actually had Jennifer, she's an immigration attorney. We did a whole video on her, where she basically, like I said, is admitted to the Maryland bar and lives in Oregon, but practices immigration law. So that's what, if you're passionate about immigration law or other things of that nature, then that can be a avenue for you. So I'll give people another couple of minutes. If you haven't had any questions, just do it. I want to see who's here today. Do a check-in. Let me know who's in the TXC crew today. TXC Sales crew, do a check-in so I can say, hey, you guys. And Monday, it's a Monday. It felt like a Monday, but Monday, November 1st, we're like countdown to Thanksgiving, countdown to Christmas. What y'all doing? Y'all going anywhere? Are you still doing, a little hesitant because of COVID? Are you traveling for the holidays? Where y'all standing? Because I know we have viewers from a lot of places, and we're excited that you took the time to show up today. Okay, you got to. Yeah, we're trying to be a little bit more Instagram active. we recently just started doing stuff on Instagram, so I'm glad you saw it on Instagram today. I try to make sure I post it on there. Who's the crew? The crew is the TXC tells all viewers. Y'all the crew. So you're part of the crew today, Unorthodox. We got California. What part of California? Because I feel like that's where I would like to end up one day, in California, like the Los Angeles, San Diego area. I visited there and I'm like, this is the best. I went there. I had I wore my hair in like a twist out and it lasted for the whole week. I knew that was my place to be. Because here in Houston, my twist out would not last the whole week. My twist out would last one day, if that. With the humidity here, you guys don't have that humidity in California. Well, at least I was in Southern California, so Los Angeles area, Orange County. Then we drove down to San Diego area. So that's why I want to end up in California one day. But yes, you down with the crew? Okay, okay, that's good. You down with us today? Okay, Los Angeles. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna be out there one of these days. I might even go out there because I would like to go to. I went to Roxo's Chicken and Waffles when I was out there. I wanted to go to Disneyland, but I didn't have time. Went to the where did we go to? The observatory. Went to the Walk of Fame and saw a few things. I was a little surprised that the Walk of Fame was like right in front of regular stuff, like was in front of a Rite Aid and random stuff. I was like, on TV, it looks like it's like all bling and headlights, but it wasn't as. I was like, this is just a regular street. But I still loved it. So I'm glad we reached all the way over to California. And what else? Oh yeah, that's the reason why I ended up in Houston. Because I wanted to go there, but the way my pockets are set up, the lifestyle I want to live, I wouldn't get that in LA for sure. Because Houston, you can get a 3,000 square foot house at the time that I got this house under $300,000. In Los Angeles, you're not getting that. And it's a 5-bedroom. This is a 5-bedroom. Yeah, you ain't getting that in Los Angeles. I saw our options. It was $500,000 for a 3-bedroom. I was like, Lord Jesus. And then my hustle had to be really hard because I wouldn't be able to do nothing else. So I'd be paying my mortgage. That's it. So I'll get there maybe one of these days or just visit because I'm not that far. Houston is not that far from Los Angeles. So I might just visit and just call it a day. There's nothing really to call home about for Houston. I'm originally from New Jersey, but I say that it gives you more disposable income so I can fly other places that I really want to be. I know you native Houstonians are probably going to be like, you can go. But I'm just saying, there's nothing really here. We got NASA, and what else we got? Nothing. We got big houses. So I think that I get more money so I can fly to places I really want to go, but I'll be here for a while. Yes, my twist out. That was the deciding factor. Like, it's such good weather there. You're in a better mood, and my hair lasts longer. Those are the deciding factors when you're a Black woman. Yeah. So, well, guys, I'm glad that you joined us today. We have the crew in the building today, and we're gonna try to do another live soon. I hadn't done the live in a while. I think the last live I did was the R. Kelly live. And that was like in the summertime, and you know what ended up happening to him. But anyway, we're not gonna go there today. This is not an R. Kelly live today. But that's the last live I did. So I might do another live soon. It was cool kind of interacting with you guys today. I'll try to look up some more information. I have a law school video posting soon. I think Tracy's going to do some travel vlogs so you can kind of see if you're traveling out here. She's our travels with Tracy. So be able to look out for some travel vlogs from us as well. Work and play, do a mixture of both. So, all right, y'all. I thank you guys for joining us tonight on TXC Tells Y'all, and I'll see you next time.